So today we will be talking about sleep disorders in children and young adults and why they occur. 25 to 50% of children are affected by sleep disorders. The main causes are post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, physical, verbal, and sexual abuse, neglect, and stress from society demands such as family, school, etc. The types of sleep disorders are obstructive sleep apnea, parasomnias, insomnia, delayed sleep phase syndrome, and restless leg syndrome. So the main parasomnias are sleepwalking, sleep talking, confusional arousals, night/sleep terrors, usually in the first half of the night, and nightmares that usually occur in the second half of the night. Up to 50% of children experience sleep disorders or problems, but only about 4% are actually diagnosed. So let's just get into a couple of these. So sleep apnea is episodes during which a sleeper's breathing completely stops, and the episodes can last from about 10 to 20 seconds, and the victims usually experience levels of fatigue throughout the day, and they don't realize what it's caused from, but it's actually caused from sleep apnea. So parasomnias are a group of sleep disorders in which unwanted disruptive motor activity and or experiences during sleep occur. So in sleepwalking, a sleeper engages in relatively complex tasks such as driving or making food during the night, and their eyes are open, but they're usually unresponsive in all attempts to try and communicate with them. During sleep talking, they're just talking while they're asleep, but this can go from dialogues and monologues to just complete gibberish or unformed words even. Confusional arousals are when a sleeping person awakes and is extremely disoriented, might not know who they are, where they are, all that kind of stuff. And night/sleep terrors are when a sleeper experiences a sense of panic, often accompanied with screams and attempts to escape their immediate environment. They usually don't remember it. Nightmares are when a sleeper experiences very frightening dreams, and they also sometimes don't remember it. Insomnia is a consistent difficulty in falling or staying asleep, and they may awake many times during the night and have trouble falling back asleep, but it has to occur at least 3 times a week for at least 1 month straight to be considered insomnia. Delayed sleep phase syndrome is when a person's sleep cycle is delayed by 2 or more hours from what is considered to be normal or socially acceptable, resulting in difficulty waking up. Restless leg syndrome is really uncomfortable sensations in the legs during inactivity or when a sleeper is trying to fall asleep, and that can result in them frequently moving their legs because the deliberately moving causes the irritation or the discomfort to kind of go away, but it can make it extremely difficult to sleep. And each of these disorders is easily linked with physical, verbal, and sexual abuse, as well as neglect, PTSD, and stress. Sleep disturbances are common in children with different types of physical or physiological disorders, including those with learning or intelligence disabilities. The negative effects on the victims are loss of sleep can result in daytime sleepiness, irritability/frustration, and lesser ability to perform tasks well, such as driving or taking a test at school, and all of that. Each disorder can have a significant impact on daytime functioning and development, including learning, growth, behavior, and emotion regulation, which is kind of detrimental. The negative effects on people around them are that it can cause family issues by having a frustrated or stubborn child that just seems to be moody or just causing problems for no reason. The kids can often tend to be more prone to bullying other children, which is negative for everyone, including them and their surroundings. So why do children and teens actually need good sleep? Well, it provides the brain with time to process all the stimulation taken in during the day. So for instance, today, right now, if I'm taking in a sound, a smell, a sight, all of that, a lot of times it's processed during the brain while I'm asleep. It provides the body with physical rest. Let's say I just played a game of a sport, so let's say basketball, and I got injured or sprained my ankle, whatever. During the night, when you're completely still, your body works to heal and recuperate and all that. Better sleep is likely to improve the child's ability to cope with better illness and possibly hasten recovery from it. So the proper amount of sleep means that your immune system is boosted. Not enough sleep means that your immune system is actually lower and you're more prone to get sick. And let's just talk a little bit what happens in the brain. So parasomnias are caused by unwanted disruptive motor activity. So all the motor neurons in your brain are not functioning properly. And this is during sleep. And there are behavioral manifestations actually that are associated with the partial arousals from sleep. Insomnia is the working task part of the brain, often referred to as the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, and that has less activity. So here's a mind map that I actually have made, and this is one side of the brain. So this is the front of the brain, this is the cerebellum in the back. And the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is right about there in your head, and that is the part of the brain that is affected. In restless leg syndrome, low levels of iron are cause, and research shows that the basal ganglia, which uses dopamine, is also affected. So the basal ganglia is actually this whole area surrounding on the outside and a little bit on the inside too, and that is what is affected, as well as because it uses dopamine and as well as iron deficiency. Sleep apnea, there can be many parts of the brain failing to allow the breathing to happen, and there are a bunch of ones, but a couple of the main ones are the amygdala, which is right about here, right near the basal ganglia, the hippocampus, which is this crescent shape, and also the insula, which is, if you open up and go directly behind the basal ganglia, it's right inside the brain. Delayed sleep phase syndrome is when the hypothalamus is being affected and malfunctioning, and the hypothalamus is a little area right by the basal ganglia and the hippocampus. So the conclusion is that children need to be raised in a safe environment away from physical, sexual, and verbal abuse. They should not be in an environment with too much stress because that has negative effects on their brain, which can cause sleep disorders to be a lot more prone to them. And anything that prohibits the amount of sleep that is a necessity, such as stress or anything like that. Depressive environments can also have a very negative effect and cause these disorders, and neglect, because a lot of times if a child is neglected and not cared for or loved, the hormones in the brain are not released properly, which can affect growth hormone and all the other normal hormones that happen, especially in children and adolescents. And that is my conclusion. Thank you for watching.